So can someone tell me where exactly you last heard me? Hello?
You asked us how the how aviation industry can go green. What are the ways that the aviation industry can go?
Okay. So let's wait for others, then we'll continue. So I had started talking about flight plans. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yes, we are about that.
You heard, okay. I don't know where exactly the internet went because I just came to realize later that it wasn't connected.
So you were explaining that a single time, like time loss at the taxiway on the flight cruise, and will affect this thing. The I can't really recall, but you were talking about time.
Okay,
Yes.
just a minute. Let's wait for others, then we're going to continue.
Hassan, if you want, you can carry on, and I think they're gonna catch you later on. This is up to you, but it's
Okay, we are now 9. So at least let's get at least 12, then we can continue. Let's give it,
okay. That's fine, no problem.
yeah. So guys, when I was saying about, when I was talking about time, like in air traffic management, for instance, for airports like Gatwick or airports like Heathrow or airports like JFK in the US, airports like Doha, airports like Dubai. These are the airports that have. Okay, your friends are coming. These are the airports that have very, very huge volume. Like you find there is a separation of like some 45 seconds only. So you delay any minute can cause very huge impact and sometimes can be even fatal. Like you look at the separation between two aircrafts. Let's say there is an aircraft that is bigger than the other, and you know that you cannot follow a bigger aircraft. You cannot take off after a bigger aircraft just in 45 seconds. So if you're given separation of like, you're given time and separation is 45 seconds. So if you just lose a minute, you can either fall into the vortices as turbulence. Let's say there is a bigger aircraft ahead of you, or if you didn't, if you're not keen enough to the separation, you can even reach, you can find an aircraft, let's say an aircraft, inbound aircraft, that might collide with you. So that's why we say air traffic management and operation, if not well observed, can lead to fatal accidents. And not just accidents. Let's come back to green aviation. You lose that 1 minute and you're told go around. Let's say there are like 3 aircrafts behind you. So if at all like you are bigger than those 2, they cannot just land because actually you have bigger vortices than them. So if they land, they might find turbulence that might lead them to collapse or to go off the runway. So in managing time, managing the flow of aircrafts, managing the taxiing, taking offs, cruising and landings, this all has a very huge role in the green aviation. Air traffic management and operation includes all the operations procedures, regulations, clearance, and entire planning of the routes. Like I just started telling you about flight operation officers who submit the flight plans 45 minutes prior, but you can submit 2 hours before or 3 hours before, depending on the size of the operations. So all this has to be with the ATC. And you know, ATC has 3 parts, like the area controller, the aerodrome controller, and the area control. So all this has to be notified. And each and everyone will be clearing you to another level till you are out of the space. Let's say if it's Erjan, they'll call you, let's say Lefkosha controller will submit you to another station. So this is how it goes. You miss any of those, you find yourself in trouble. You miss any of those, you find yourself killing other people. You miss any of the instructions that they're giving you, you find that there is massive impact that might lead to fatal disasters, like accidents that might kill people. Like if you have heard about Tenerife, I don't know if you ever heard about Tenerife accidents. Has anyone ever heard about Tenerife accident? This was in 1970 something.
No.
Okay, this is the very, very bad accident ever happened in aviation. It was about a pilot that missed instructions, and he decided to just take off on his own. And Tenerife is located in Tenerife Airport is located in a very strategic point where in minutes weather changes. So this pilot collapsed like head to head with another aircraft on the runway because of low visibility and some other factors. But the main factor is he didn't follow the instruction that he was given by ATC. So that's why I'm telling you, air traffic management and operations need to be well observed for aviation to go green. Because going green is not just about emissions, not just about efficiency, it's also about safety. Safety of the passengers, safety of the aircrafts, safety of those around the airport, safety of all those who are working with the aviation sector. So for sustainable aviation, every minute counts huge in the impact of emissions, delays, mishaps, and mismanagement have on the environment and business in terms of cost and revenues. So we just discussed about going rounds and how they affect in the emissions. But let's not just talk about emissions, let's talk about the fuel burnt. This fuel needs to be bought, and that's money. And you know, in aviation, we are trying as much as we can to reduce the cost in order to make profits. Because if the costs are higher than the revenues, then we are making losses. So all this needs to be considered, business-wise, environmental-wise, and in the safety-wise. It is estimated that reducing flights by 1 minute may result into the reduction of 4.8 million tons of carbon dioxide per year. So imagine if you delay 1 minute, you add 4.8 million tons. That's per year. And if you reduce 1 minute, that is like if you observe each and every command that you're told by the air traffic management, if you're told by the dispatcher down. So if you observed all this, you can reduce by minute, you can reduce 4.8 million tons of carbon dioxide. Thus, modern ATM systems are implemented everywhere in the world so they can save fuels, reduce emissions, but also reduce costs, maximizing revenues and keep staff, passengers, and cargo safe, like I just said. So before I go further, maybe till here, what can you relate in the normal daily aviation that maybe you have once gone to the airport, you're traveling, going somewhere? What can you relate from what we have just discussed? Anyone? From the aircraft technology to air traffic management and operations. What can you say? Like if you have any experience that you have witnessed or you have been into that experience? Guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Yeah, so can you relate or can you give me a vivid example that you once saw or you were once into that experience?
Okay, so when I was coming to Cyprus, the flight we took from Istanbul to Ajan Airport, the pilot came. It's like he landed before his time, and he had to take off back and land again. I really don't know what the situation was, but it seems like he was early than the scheduled time he had to land.
That was first. Any other example? Any other example? Think about weather. Sometimes weather deteriorates and you find that there is no visibility and you are supposed to leave, let's say by 10:20. Because of weather, maybe they're telling you you'll leave after 1 hour when the weather is cleared. Imagine how many other aircrafts, let's say you have 2 connecting flights. Let's say you are to go to Istanbul, then Istanbul go to Dubai, Dubai go to your country or somewhere else. So if you miss that fast travel, how much are you going to lose in your entire journey? Our friend has just shared with us the example of going round. That's a go round. Let's say you miss a point. In the runway, there are markings. There is the landing marking, there is the touchdown marking. So if at all you miss this, there is a possibility, let's say, of overlapping the runway and you end up crashing. Or if you, like he said, if you land before time and there is another aircraft, let's say outbound, going out, there is a risk of you colliding. So that's why he had to touch and go around. So can you relate now at least?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So air traffic management initiates initiatives, improve fuel efficiency. Now we are coming back to the fuel because our main topic today is going green as far as emissions are concerned. So optimizing flight path. Let's say you are given a truck. You're given a truck of 207, and for you, you go 290. Will you be in the right path? Guys,
Can you repeat the question, please?
yeah, I'm saying like your ATC has given a clearance to truck 027. For you, you go truck 090. Will you be in the right track? Maybe if you don't know, like a truck is the way that we use. Let's say you just took off. Let's say some minutes ago, you just took off from your journey. The ATC will direct you. Before even going, the flight plan will tell you, like after taking off, let's say I'm taking off on the runway 09er. 09er, I'll have to follow the track of, let's say 27027, because tracks are given in 3 digits. So if you go to any other track, there is a possibility, a very high possibility of you colliding with other aircrafts. Because like you're seeing in the picture here, you see all these dots leading to aircrafts. These can be trucks, we are assuming, because we don't have roads in the sky, but we have trucks that we use as our roads, as our ways to travel from one point to another. So if you're told to go, let's say this is 009. If you're told to go 09 here straight, and you follow, sorry, I pressed and it went to the next. And you follow any other truck, there is a high possibility of you colliding because some other aircrafts might have been assigned to that truck. So now, do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this was just optimizing flight path. Relieving system congestion, like I said about the separations. So separations are to reduce congestions. You reduce the traffic. Like instead of 3, 5 aircrafts being packed at one truck, let's say I'll tell you, you go to the 27R, 27R, runway 27R, I'll assign you to runway 09L. So I give you separations, and behind you maybe there are 2, 3 aircrafts. I'll tell you, you'll go after two minutes, you go after 3 minutes, depending on the on the weight of the aircraft that is ahead. Integration of ATM and airborne technologies. That's why I said about ATC, where there is area, where there is aerodrome, and where there is area, aerodrome, and what. So aerodrome, like ATC, will have, it has 3 parts. Like aerodrome that controls the area in the airport, and there is area control, which controls up to where you are leaving the FIR, flight information region. So all these will be guiding you depending on on which point you are reaching. That's why we're saying integrating ATM and airborne technologies. So you will still be in the communications at each and every point that you're passing. That's why we have reporting points, compulsory reporting points. We have navigation aids to follow. We have several other things. As a pilot, they know better. Like if you become a pilot, or if you happen to go to the ATC, you'll hear them saying reporting at this point, and some points become compulsory. Some points are just you can report or not report, depending on the guideline that you're given by the ATC. So all these initiatives that we just discussed here, they lead to passenger spending less time in the air. So instead of you spending like 15 minutes going around, you just land, take another flight to your destination. And there's something here that says jet aircraft can use 5 times more fuel at lower altitude than at cruising altitude. So you find that you're spending more fuel when you are in the low altitude. Like instead of going to flight level 2, let's say flight level 272, for you go to flight level 102. So you find that the one who's at 272 will spend less fuel than the one who's at 102 that we just discussed. Holding planes at the departure airports reduce fuel burn and emissions. So you're given holding points. Like instead of you going to the alternate aerodrome to land, you'll be told to hold. So you go around, go around, go around. Like you're just holding, just at the airport, you circle. For those pilots who are, if there are any pilots in this course, they might know what I'm saying now, like the circling, holding patterns. There is a special rule and regulations that they follow in each and every airport that you go to land. You find in their charts that this is the holding pattern. It's like 25 nautical miles at the airport. So we go next. Now we're going to the alternative fuels. We have been discussing about fuels. Who can tell me which kind of fuel we are using in most of the aircrafts today?
Jet fuels.
What?
Kerosene. We're using kerosene.
Someone said something else. Who? Can you repeat?
Jet fuels is named as jet fuel, but the chemical I don't know.
Jet fuel. Someone else?
I think it's kerosene and gasoline.
So all these are the ones that you are very right. Like in total, we call them aviation gas, avgas. They can be kerosene. And why are we using kerosene? Kerosene is lighter compared to diesel, compared to petrol, and it burns faster compared to diesel, compared to petrol. So the main motives in the concept of green aviation are to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Can someone tell me what are the greenhouse gas emissions or greenhouse gases? Greenhouse gases?
Sunlight, maybe.
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon monoxide. And other pollutions or gases.
What are the gases?
Like we mentioned all of them.
What's something that is already in the air? It's always there in the air that you're
Methane,
What?
nitrous methane, and nitrous oxide and ozone.
Mhm.
These gases are already in the air, so I think like that. Carbon dioxide.
Okay, somebody mentioned like the sunlight, yeah?
I said
Mhm. All these other gases that you're saying, you talked about nitrogen, nitrous oxide, you talk about carbon dioxide, you talk about thermal, which is from the sunlight. We have three main in all those that you said, but the greenhouse gases, you are forgetting one thing that is very common and it's very destructive in the ozone layer, which is water vapor. Can you relate now?
Hydrogen? What? No. Yeah.
Water actually, yeah. Water is hydrogen, oxygen.
Yeah, hydrogen and oxygen.
Mhm.
So hydrogen gas, you mean?
Yeah, so we don't say hydrogen and oxygen, like we don't separate them like H2O. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
Water vapor, because whenever it becomes water vapor, it's something else. It's no longer water. It's water vapor. It's in terms of, it's in form of vapor. Vapor in terms of fumes. It's no longer in water. What? So it's in terms of gas.
Gas, hydrogen oxide.
Mhm. So the common three, the greenhouse gas emissions are made of three gases, which are water vapor, carbon dioxide, and this thermal infrared, the sunlight. Guys, wake up. Can you relate now? Like, what are the greenhouse gases?
sunlight and carbon dioxide.
And water vapor. Don't forget that.
Okay.
So the sustainable fuel system mainly focuses in the utilization of less to emission free energy sources. Like we just spoke of liquid hydrogen, which is used in the burning, which is used as a source of energy in the aircraft, in some aircrafts like the Airbus Zero. Airbus Zero is one among the very current example of the aircrafts that are not using avgas, but they use liquid hydrogen, not that. And it's very, because it's natural, so it has no emissions. This system directly and indirectly will replace the use of avgas, kerosene, and jet gas, whatever that you named already, which has higher carbon emissions compared to the use of liquid hydrogen. Biofuels. Can someone tell me what are biofuels?
Biofuels that it's made by plant chemical from the plants, like natural plants, like bamboo. Sometimes they produce petrol from bamboo's plant.
That's very right. Solar.
And other gases, yeah.
Solar, everyone knows about solar, yeah? And or electrical powered motors. Can someone, has someone heard about Tesla? Elon Musk having the spaceship?
Tesla, do you mean the car?
The company, the company that produces Tesla, it's also
Yeah.
in another project building a spaceship.
No idea about it. Just
Yeah.
I know the car, the car of it, the produce of car.
So they have another project that they are to produce an electrical powered aircraft.
Boeing, I heard about Boeing company.
Mhm.
They're researching for electrical aircraft.
Mhm. They're already there, but they're of short range. A short
Yeah,
range, but you cannot go further than some miles, like the normal planes do. We have the UAV, the unmanned aircrafts, vehicles, which are powered by aircrafts, like the NASA one, which are powered by solar.
yeah.
So all these are eco-friendly. So we talked about the biofuels, you talked about bamboos, sugarcane, corn, soybeans, vegetable oils like the cooking oils, jatropha, camelina, grasses, all these, the first generation, second generation, and the third generation, all these produce biofuels. And this is the chain. You can see, like from the farm, you produce, you select like sugarcane, bamboos, grasses, and some other natural plants. So you come to crops. This is the circle that goes to the fermentation area. They produce gas, going to the transportation till to the airport, and they refuel to the aircrafts.
But there's a lot of difficulties in the producing biofuels. Like we need a lot of plants and trees to cut it down and to produce it to turn to fuel, and it is expensive.
Thank you very, very much. At least you have seen that. And it's very efficient, yes, but it's very expensive. That's a very good point. And it's not just expensive, but it's also very sophisticated. It needs too much research and too much technology to be put in for it to be produced.
I hear that in Brazil they're using bamboo fuels like biofuels, but it is hard to transport to other countries. Like they use the eco friendly fuel.
Yeah,
Like hydrogen fuels is really hard to transport. It's really dangerous and uh, to transport the fuel.
that is very true. And right now it's not efficient because of those factors. It's very expensive. Even the supply itself is very sophisticated. Even the research, and there are no proper research that's there are no proper research that enables it to to be called fully efficient to be used by everyone in the world. So before we go to alternative energy development, guys, we have like 3 minutes. So let's take a short break. Then when we come, we finish our class. I hope so far you're enjoying the class, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So let's finish these 3 minutes by asking you, what have you got so far? Who has not said anything since the class began? I've been hearing, is it Julia? I've been hearing somebody, Lula. I've been hearing someone, is it Isaac or there are two people who have been saying, have been speaking. Who else has not said? Sumaya, Hajira, and Elif. Guys, say something. Aisel, say something. Ali said something I heard. Who else has not said anything? Please, guys, say something. We have 2 minutes before we go for break. And we're going to have a 10 minutes break. All right, anyone? Even those who have already said something?
Something like what?
Say anything that you have already, you understood today. Like, what's something have you gained today?
Everything.
Okay, everything. I need to know. What's that everything?
I mean, everything you said, I understood.
Tell me, what's that everything? Because everything means nothing. Nothing means everything. Anyway, guys, so please, when we come back, prepare yourself to say something. Everyone is going to say something. So we have 1 minute, and I will just go have something, have a short break. We'll be here at around 2:15. So stay safe, guys. We meet in 10 minutes.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you have less than a minute.
This topic is included the final exam.
Yes, definitely. You will have some question from the final exam, definitely from this chapter.
Okay.
Okay. It's gonna be 2 multiple choice question probably. The slide will be shared after probably tomorrow. I will go into the share the slides in e-learning. It's okay. Don't worry.